80's Commanders, which of course is just the Centurions. But the cartoon was released in 1986, but I didn't get to watch it until around 1994 when Cartoon Network started showing up on more television services. So when I went to go find the toys, they were long gone. We're gonna open this up, check it out. I mean, they look great in the box pose, but you can't see their weapon systems. So you gotta open it up with a 2-layer, the weapon systems in the back. And on the show, they kind of had sort of small, medium, large weapon systems. These are all their kind of smallest weapon sets for each character. We got the figures that are... Max just volunteered first. The helmet actually has a clear visor and everything. It's a 2-piece. It's got to open up and close around for a tighter fit. Let's just look at the figure here first. We've got ball joint here, but we just have little elbow pieces here that won't let him raise too much, but it does move up out of the way some. The elbow, we got turn at that ball joint there. Should have wrist because there's interchangeable hands. Bend as well at the wrist. Not just rotate. So I believe they have more movement than the original 80's ones. Just the portrait actually looks a lot better in person as well. Looks a lot more like the cartoon than I previously thought looking at some of these. There's the head, has pretty good range as well on its own, just on a ball joint, nothing more than that. But we got twist at the waist. Legs, of course, are kind of on that little classic peg there where they can't bend too crazy far. But we got rotate here, knee, kind of its own joint here, the ankle, plenty of movement. Again, in person, this likeness and the skin tone, I feel like the light hitting this is making it look strange, but it might be a little bit of opacity, you would say, to it, but really in person, a lot more solid. Not as solid as maybe the neck. Skin tone, but it still matches. The helmet is 2-piece. Looks like the whole thing was clear plastic from the inside and it was just colored green, so that would probably chip if you played around with it too hard. Definitely says for collectors. Visual of the eyes through the helmet. We got a little plastic separating the helmet from the figure, so if you did leave this in the packaging, maybe there wouldn't be any color bleed or anything strange there. Even on the hand for Ace McCloud kind of doing his salute, because there is some interchangeable hands here, so he comes with his flat hand as default, so he can be doing his salute in the box. All the same articulation here, but we can see the face. Fairly good one for cartoon appearance, in my opinion. Yeah, the skin has like a slight translucentness that it's not too solid, but in person it doesn't look so bad. Bodies are pretty much the same. His helmet has a little more silver involved here, and of course the same split open to get on the head. This one a little more in line with the eyes. And Jake Rockwell. Another pretty nice likeness, really, especially the hair. Definitely has his hairdo down. I have heard the original toys were a little brittle. I wouldn't say these are going to feel like they're invincible. They're definitely not for like hard play or anything like that. But I don't feel too scared of any of this, or is feeling brittle or anything like that. He's got his helmet as well. And that clear visor is just a sweet little extra detail. Definitely worth it. That's the 3 boys in their usual little exosuits. Looks like for hands, we've got mostly fists on the figures, and then here we have open hands, more open hands. Plenty of hand options, not really something I was needing for these guys. Mostly when we look at the weapon systems. We're gonna go with Max Ray. He's gonna say Power Extreme. His cruiser weapon system. Again, I don't know if they have plans to do the bigger weapon system somehow, if they were just gonna release just the accessories for these figures, or if they're going to re-release the figures with maybe more weapons later. Max may be getting the bigger Tidal Blast or the Depth Charger suits. Here we just have Cruiser, which has his air tank on the back, which kind of in harmony with toys and the show, with all the pegs on there and then the lock in place. Ooh, and that's tight on there, let me tell you. That's going nowhere. Then his big missile, which again, I just have even more pegs just to kind of layer these suits. Yeah, those go in super tight and nicely, but there's not going to be like a toyish like launcher for the missile, I don't think. It's just that the missile can come out if you wanted to kind of pretend like, but it doesn't have like a toy-like launcher or anything. He'll have his underwater jets. The underwater specialist seem a little looser for the feet. The fin that had a laser gun there at the tip for the front. He can kind of shoot while he's swimming forward there, but he also had his arm-mounted blaster, also with just kind of the fins, just for the extra of the underwater theme. So it was always kind of cool that, you know, if there's any water around, obviously he's going to take care of that. But he can just get this weapon suit on the ground also and still use it, because he's got a laser and he gets one missile shot for when he needs it. Of course, all these pieces will like kind of rotate because they're just kind of in peg holes. I'm just kind of going by the cartoon way that they went in. I mean, if you were playing around with this, put the peg in any spot you want. If you want them right-handed, left-handed. But I just want to kind of recreate the show appearance with their costumes this way. Jake Rockwell here. Jake's going to go power extreme to get his Fire Force weapon system. For this weapon system, we've got the backpack on the back, but some of the other pieces are maybe a little more versatile of where they go. I mean, the front Gatling gun, kind of dead center in the chest he's able to shoot, but it has like this antenna piece that would probably either go here or on the shoulder. And then he has a light, which you can kind of put on either shoulder, depending. Say the box art of this particular pack is a little confusing because I think they have the antenna on the other side, and that's a little confusing. The rocket launcher will just kind of have to go on the back for storage, but if you wanted it in a position where he was going to fire it, we'd probably want to take these pieces off and have it in that top spot so it can kind of have an over-the-shoulder bazooka, which means you'd have to kind of put these other pieces on the other side, but there's only one peg for either the light or the antenna, so I feel like the antenna might just be kind of extra. I don't know if that's more based off the cartoon. But this light, just kind of a bonus piece, will rotate around. Get that on there just for extra kind of gun piece here. Again, a variety of places, but usually he would just maybe have that on the arm on the side as an extra aimable weapon that you can't just have the Gatling shooting forward. So a couple ways you want to configure that if you want to have him looking like he's going to fire the bazooka. It'll need that spot, but you're kind of left without anywhere for the antenna piece. So it's a little confusing on the Fire Force suit. But again, will they be able to do a Wild Weasel or the Detonator heavy suit or his other ones? I had that helicopter one as well. I did actually use it on the show. Again, for display, I don't know if I want other systems, because you can only really have one on your shelf for the figures. So Jake Rockwell, a couple options for him, how you want to display it. And we've got Ace McCloud, not to be confused with Fox McCloud. Just to demonstrate, pulling the hand out. He has his flat hand, we can get fist just so that gonna match everybody. Pretty thick ball joints. Usually the tab would be on the hand also. They're pretty tight in there, but that can benefit when you do switch. It's not gonna fall out. He'll have to say power extreme for the SKYKNIGHT suit. It looks like we've got moving wing. Nice little bonus there. And then the laser cannon already mounted on top, but it is removable. Pop that in for the back. Add the jet engines to the wings, like so. This suit had some serious firepower. He had missiles ready on the wrists. Got that laser cannon on the back, and then the front piece, snapping on the front there, has movable gun turrets, laser cannons like this. This one's a little bent here. These are a little fragile, but both of those move. And then this was his bomb he could drop if he wanted some heavy duty damage on some enemies. So for his smaller weapon suit, he's probably has the most weaponry out of the three. Several laser guns, 2 missiles, and a bomb. I use this a lot. I like how these are all turnable, however you wanted to play. If you use, I need more speed and whatever, or again for play purposes, you wanted to load somebody up and borrow a weapon from another guy. I think maybe on the cartoon there was maybe a few rare instances where somebody said, give me so-and-so's extra weapon or something like that. Yeah, I would have had a lot of fun with the toys, just being able to say, firing the missile and pretending like that. I used to draw the weapon suits on paper and kind of cut them out like paper doll style and kind of tape them onto another figure so I could kind of replicate the Centurions weapon systems on my other action figures, because I just really love the idea that, you know, each suit and things that snapped together and gave them the extra weapons. So I absolutely love having these. They look great. They're bigger than I thought they looked. They looked a little small in other pictures, but really good size that you can see all the pieces. I always love their color combinations and choices for the weapon suits with the guys' suits. Just the way the orange and yellow somehow just does scream marine and underwater. Maybe kind of a USA-ish theme for the aerial ace. Some more earthy tones here for Jake Rockwell, the ground expert. I don't know how interested I am in maybe the other two Centurions they did add later. There was sort of a more snowy Arctic character and the Native American character as well, just to make it a 5-man team. I probably wouldn't say no to their lady in the sky that beamed down their weapons. She always looked pretty awesome. They are working on the villains, and I would probably be tempted to get those for sure, just to go with these guys. So we'll keep an eye on Ramen Toy Company, see what they do with this lineup. But finally, you know, years I've wanted the Centurions, and this opportunity popped up, jumped right on it, because older 80s toys do go for quite a bit, especially when they have all their accessories, which would be what you want. Even some of the simpler weapon systems, let alone the bigger ones. But these are all modular. They have their peg holes ready if they make the bigger systems. I don't know if I would go for that or not. You could probably tempt me, because I am pretty crazy for these, but I really love this cartoon. I love the look of them. The figures do feel solid when you put the weapon systems in place. They don't have the play feature like shooting the missiles, but I'm just looking to display them anyway. So I really like them, and I think they're definitely worth the price, considering the older ones are, from what I've heard, a little more brittle, and then of course very expensive to complete. Kind of a lost and forgotten cartoon that I really enjoyed the concept of, the characters and the look and everything. For the show to watch and the toys to have and display and see. So made in the 80s, but enjoyed more in the 90s for me. So this kind of counts in my little 90s run of a lot of toy collectibles I like to do here. Open all sorts of old and new toys here. Completing collections, showing my older collections, and all sorts of things like that. So give the Centurions, I mean the 80s Commanders, a like if you like seeing this close-up look at them all. And subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Definitely entices me to get sweet collectibles like this to show you guys when there's more viewers and subscribers like that. So hopefully I'll get to see you in the next video. And just for one more time, Power Extreme!